All right, good evening, everybody. This is the regular board meeting. The time is now 6:32, and this meeting has been posted in accordance to the Opens Meeting Act. We do have a quorum, 1, 2, 3, 4, and want to take a moment of silence now, if we can, please. Thank you very much. Now to item 1C, the Pledge of Allegiance. Ms. Brianna Vela Garcia.
Good evening, Mr. President, board members, Dr. Noyola, administration, audience. Tonight's pledge will be led by Anthony Ledma, an 8th grader from Vela Middle School. So, Anthony is the son of Gilberto and Amanda Ledma. Anthony is an active athlete on his campus. He participates in football, baseball, and will also be on the basketball team and competing in track this spring. He plans to attend Cano Freshman Academy and then Harlingen High School South. For his future career, he would like to explore the world of hyperbaric welding. I think I said that right. It's the high pressure welding and can also be underwater welding. So please help me welcome Anthony Ledma.
How do I start it?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. You may be seated.
All right, thank you very much. Now on to item number 2, awards and recognition. A, recognition of advanced placement scholars, Dr. Joseph Villarreal.
Good evening, Mr. President, board members, Dr. Noyola, and audience. This evening, we'll be recognizing students from Harlingen High School, Harlingen High School South, and Harlingen School of Health Professions that were honored to be named AP Scholars. Mrs. Melissa Parker, Director of Advanced Academics, will lead the recognition.
Good evening. The Advanced Placement Program recognizes high school students who have demonstrated outstanding college-level achievement through their performance on AP exams. The following students have qualified as AP Scholars by earning a score of 3 or higher on 3 or more AP exams. We're going to start with students from Harlingen High School. Please note that there are many students that are still finishing up exams in college, and so they're not here tonight, but we will call their names and recognize them. So Dr. Noyola and Dr. Muniz, if you would come down to honor these students. Again, from Harlingen High School, Kiera Barrera. Connor Chavez. Natalie Garcia. Javier Gonzalez. Richard Loya. Thomas Lissy. Amanda Pro. And Carolina Villanueva. From Harlingen High School South, Dell Davis. Patricia Garza. Isaiah Gonzalez. Jorge Gonzalez. Marcos Gonzalez. Kimia Gonzalez. Nancy Grimaldo. Kendra Hernandez. Rolando Ledesma. Caitlin Machin. Ryan McMinn. Caden Parrish. Malachi Pena. Anna Porzicki. Christopher Ringiano. James Robledo. Clarissa Rubio. Gabriela Sanchez. Eliana Salcedo. Joshua Trevino. And from Harlingen School of Health Professions, Christina Banda. Itzel Garza. Sophia Peters. Mark Rainey. Gabriel Reyes. Jaden Rodriguez. and Tabitha Torres. And now, and our AP Scholars with Honor. These students receive this honor by receiving an average score of at least 3.25 on all AP exams taken and scores of 3 or higher on 4 or more exams. From Harlingen High School, Andrea Hinojosa. Harlingen High School South, Autumn Barrett. And Valeria Bautista. The next group are AP Scholars with Distinction. They earned this honor by receiving an average score of 3.5 on all AP exams taken and scores of 3 or higher on 5 or more exams. From Harlingen High School, Julia McManus. Milagros Rodriguez. Sierra Smith. From Harlingen High School South, Kristen Gross. Robert Serna. Eric Soto. Serenade Trevino. And from Harlingen School of Health Professions, Grace Ramirez. Would the rest of the board members join in for a picture?
Let's have one of you all come stand right over here. Okay, look right here. And parent photos.
All right, on to item number 2B, recognition of HCIT chess team for achievement at the Texas Chess Association Girls State Championship. Dr. Joseph V. Villarreal.
Mr. President, board members, Dr. Noyola, and audience, this one is all about breaking barriers. This evening, we'll be recognizing the all-girls team from the Harlingen School of Health Professions that won the state championship at the Texas Chess Association Girls Tournament. And once again, Miss Melissa Parker will lead the recognition.
Good evening. I'm so excited to recognize this all-girls team. So from Harlingen School of Health Professions, if Dr. Noyola and Dr. Muniz would come down. The girls even brought their trophy to show off. So if we can have Alexis Bayo. America Garcia. Sarah Hernandez. Sahara Torres. I'd like to invite the rest of the board members to come down for a group picture with the trophy. Also, I believe their sponsor is here and their principal is here. They'd like to join in.
Mr. Burns, can you step on to the other side right there? Perfect. Okay, everyone look right here. Family photos.
Ready, 1, 2, and 3.
If we could have the parents of these young ladies stand up and be recognized. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
On to item number 2. Yes, go for it.
Very quickly.
Absolutely.
I just want to say, to me, the list of AP scholars that we just recognized was incredibly long, and so we should all, as a community, be incredibly proud. And then I don't think we've ever won a state championship in chess, and certainly not our young women. So Dr. V said it perfectly, right? Breaking boundaries. Thank you. Amazing talent, and we can't wait to put your trophy in the front so everybody can see it. So I'm sure at some point Dr. Noyola is going to get that trophy from you for just a little bit. So we're so proud of you. Congratulations.
Congratulations, ladies. Thank you, ladies. On to 2C, recognition of Harlingen High School Big Red Cardinal Band, UIL, state marching qualification. Ms. Kara Hofflinger.
Good evening, Mr. President, members of the board, Dr. Noyola, administration, and audience. It is my privilege to be able to present to you today and to be able to recognize our very own Harlingen High School Big Red Cardinal Band and their directors for the outstanding achievement of qualifying for the 14th consecutive appearance in the UIL State Marching Band competition this year. And, you know, 14th consecutive. Almost it's come to be expected. And what we learned this year is it's never given. Every year is different. And 14 consecutive, that equals out to more than 20 years. And, you know, I'm going to share a quick story of these students. Their show this year was called The Warrior Within. And it was developed on getting over COVID and learning and digging deep. And we discovered at the very beginning of the season, we had a competition that did not go the way we had intended for it to go. And I called Miss Coronado and said, okay, how are the kids? And she said, I said, how are you? She said, ah. And then I said, how are the kids? And she said, they're hungry. And she said, here's what we're going to do. And, you know, I was talking to Dr. Noyola one night before the pep rally, and she said, you know, anger, it dissipates, but hunger is only satisfied when it's fed. And these students and directors dug deep, and they are the epitome of grit, and they kept improving inch by inch throughout their season to solidify their spot in the state marching competition. And we were discussing right before this meeting, 14 consecutive. I'm going to run some data. I'm not sure if there's any band in Texas that has done it 14 consecutive times. If there is, it is only a handful. And so for that, we commend them, and we would like to invite Dr. Noyola and President Muniz to come down to present the plaque to our drum major, or one of our drum majors, Casey Barrera. So Casey, why don't you come on up? Awesome. So I'd be remiss not to announce our directors, and they are here this evening. Maria Coronado, our head director. Rob Larios. Yes, absolutely. Rob Larios. Veronica Villegas. Manuel Hernandez. Eugenio Castellanos. Sarah Zamaripas. And Melanie Kulaga. At this time, I'd like to invite the board, our directors, and our student representatives, these are our seniors and section leaders this year representing the band, to come up for a photo.
All right.
All right, on to item number 2D, recognition of Harlingen High School and Harlingen High School South cross-country state qualifiers. Mr. Coach Rob Davies.
Good evening, Mr. President, members of the board, Dr. Noyola, and audience. Tonight, I'm honored to present our HCISD cross-country state qualifiers. Before I announce the student athletes, I would like to invite Dr. Noyola, Dr. Muniz, and members of the board up front for a group photo. From Harlingen High School, three-time state qualifier, Dominic Luna. A little bit about Dominic as he's coming forward. Recently, he was named to the Texas High School Coaches Association Super Elite Team for Class 6A. That is the top 7 cross-country runners in 6A boys for the entire state. And that's one of them right there. Awesome job, Tom. Also really proud of Dom, not just getting it done in cross country, but also was recently named to the Academic All-State team. And we'll celebrate that in the spring. And then for the last 20 years, we've had a dry spell for cross country girls at Harlingen High, and this year that was broken by Ayana Alibas. She's our first cross-country runner from the females in the last 20 years. And she also will be recognized in the spring for Academic All-State. To be considered for Academic All-State, you have to maintain a 90% average cumulative for all 4 years of high school, and then there's some ACT, some SAT, some class rank, some different things that factor into that. So great job in the classroom and also in athletics. I'd like to bring our coaches up. These athletes were coached this year by Efrain Ambriz, Adair Islas, and Edward Ramos. And then from Harlingen High School South, unable to attend tonight, Alexis Fonseca and Coach Ariana Montalvo. They have a great excuse. They're both participating in a soccer game this evening, but we'll get their awards to them. I wanted to take the opportunity to recognize our coaches. Also, we're going to do this again formally in January, but yesterday we have 4 cross-country coaches, 2 head coaches at HHS and 2 head coaches at South, and 3 of our 4 were recognized as the Region 7 Coach of the Year. And that extends from Laredo to Corpus Christi all the way down to here. That's a lot of people, and we have 3 of the 4. So 6A boys cross country, Coach Ambriz. 6A girls cross country, Coach Islas. And then first year coach, in her very first year, I don't know how she's going to repeat after that, but Coach Montalvo, 5A girls, Region 7 Coach of the Year. Great job.
Thank you. Let's take a group photo. I think Dr. Montreal might go on there. Yeah. Coach Davies, could you stand right now? Perfect. And let's have one of you all step right there, whoever would like to. Perfect. Okay, everyone look here.
You guys might be on ESPN or... All right, 1, 2, and 3. Got it? Good job, guys.
Thank you. Great job, athletes.
Great job, coaches. Great job, students. Dr. Pettis?
I just want to say, it's not on. Hello? Testing, testing.
Coaches, a couple seconds.
I guess they don't trust me with my mic.
You gotta yell.
Hello? Can y'all hear me? Testing, testing, testing,
There we
testing.
go.
There we go, there we go. Just want to say, for whatever this is worth, I used to run cross country when I was in high school, but I never won any awards. So I just want y'all to know, for these student athletes, you guys are already well more accomplished than I ever was, but really proud to see what you do, not only out there in the track or the cross country, wherever you run, but also in the classrooms and your careers. And so really proud of you, and thanks again, coaches, great role models, and looks like all you guys run with them, so amazing. So you guys did great, so congrats, really proud of you.
All right. Thank you, gentlemen. Thank you, Dr. Pettis. On to item number 2E, recognition of PTSA Students of the Month for December. Ms. Brianna Velo Garcia.
Mr. President, board members, Dr. Noyola administration audience, this evening I will be recognizing our December PTSA Students of the Month. Our students proudly represent the PTSAs of Harlingen High School, Harlingen High School South, Harlingen Collegiate High School, and Harlingen School of Health Professions. This video was made by our Media Arts and Communications Academy students, and so we hope everyone in our audience enjoys.
I'm in NJHS, I'm a part of Student Council and the Rotary Interact Club. I'm passionate about myself because I'm going to be the first person in my family to attend college, and I'm also passionate because I always push myself to succeed and do great things. I plan on attending Texas State or UTSA University. I'm majoring in business to hopefully soon or in the future become a CEO of my own business. I want to thank my old history teacher, Dr. Lopez. She inspired me and pushed me and told me that I could do it. And I'm also grateful for my mom for always being my #1 supporter and never letting me down.
I'm a member of NHS. I'm a varsity athlete in water polo, swimming, volleyball, track, and powerlifting. I'm very passionate about swimming. I'm very passionate about all the sports that I do. I'm very passionate about my work ethic and the work that I put into the sports because I want to make my family proud, and I feel like once I do that, then I'll be successful. I'd like to attend Baylor or UCLA. My dad lives in California, so UCLA is a very good school. I'd like to study astrophysics and eventually get a degree so that I can be a full-time researcher in astronomy. I'd like to thank all my coaches, specifically my swim coach Danny, my volleyball coach, Coach Thoris, and then my mom, my dad, and my stepdad.
I'm an FFA, Student Council, PTSA, and member 7 Stars drill team, and I'm the lieutenant in there. I've always done band since I was like a little kid, and so when I moved schools, I found out that there was a drill team, so I decided to try out, and I ended up really liking it, so I just kept doing it throughout high school. I'm passionate about going to college and pursuing what I want to do and continuing my education with it. I would like to continue studying animal science at hopefully A&M, but if not, then I'm going to attend Texas Tech. I would like to thank my parents especially and my friends for supporting me, but mainly my parents because they've been a great influence to me throughout as I was growing up and teaching me how to be responsible and all of that. So yeah, I'd like to thank my parents mainly.
Clubs I'm in right now are band, PTSA, and NHS, and I hold a leadership position in band. I'm a section leader. I'm passionate about band because I feel like it's something I can do and practice at and be better at, and something that I can use to express myself in different ways. After high school, I plan on attending University of Houston to major in chemistry, and hopefully after getting a bachelor's degree, attend medical school and become a pathologist. I remember as a kid, I remember that one of the best times I had spending time with my family was watching Forensic Files or Investigation Discovery. And I always liked when they would cut to the scene when they would start talking about the autopsies or the deaths or like how they found out of how the person died. And I just thought that was super cool. I would thank my parents because I feel like they've really set the standard for me and helped me throughout all my years and have shown me that as long as I try my hardest and do my best, I'll be able to succeed. Excluding PTSA, in terms of clubs, I am technically a part of the Spelling Bee Club. I'm an NHS president. I'm a class officer. I'm public relations in that. I am a part of the student council, and that's basically it. It's my last year. It's my senior year, so I decided why not? Enjoy it. Looks better on my resume, and it's fun, even though I'm like never at home anymore. Chemistry or just anything science or math related, they are my true passion. This is why I'm trying to go into anything in the STEM field. The main college I'm working at right now is Rice University, and there I plan on majoring in chemical engineering. Hopefully that goes well. As a backup, I have Baylor University as well. So I would like to thank obviously my parents for pushing me whenever I felt anything like a little too difficult maybe. They always like were there to tell me like, you'll do it. You always manage to and you'll do it now. And I also like to thank my dog Khaleesi because she's always there for me. Whenever something gets a little too tough, I know she'll be there to smile and cheer me up.
I'm NHS Vice President. I am in PTSA. I am class office, student relations, and I'm in those positions because I like to help out in the community. I like to be there, like to support people, and like I like to see people like have a smile on their face because I don't know, people's happiness brings me happiness. I'm passionate about coding because I love coding, and I want to become like a software engineer or like somewhere along the field of coding would be nice. I plan on going to UTRGV and studying computer science and engineering because I want to be an electrical engineer and understand coding even more to continue the practice. The people I want to thank, probably my mom and dad, really, because they're the ones that pushed me ever since I was young. They always want the best for me, and I appreciate that from them because like I would never be here if it wasn't for them.
I am a captain for South for the varsity tennis team. I am also in student council as secretary and treasurer. I'm also in Phoenix for Christ as treasurer and National Honor Society as treasurer. I've also been a part of the politics club and Spanish club as well. I'm passionate about the medical field, saving animals, playing the piano, and playing tennis. I haven't decided yet, but I've applied to Rice, Baylor, Texas A&M, UT, and TCU, but A&M is probably my top choice right now, and I plan on studying biomedical sciences to become a physician of either a dermatologist or a cardiologist. I want to thank my parents the most because they allow me to have the time to study and to do my homework, and also my teachers, of course, that answer all my questions that I have during class time.
I'm in Spanish club, book club, and in NHS, and I'm currently a vice president for the class of 2023. I'm passionate about becoming successful and helping out my family and others as well. I'm going to UTRGV and I want to major in pre-nursing and becoming a registered nurse. I want to thank my family and my teachers for encouraging me and helping me become the best version of myself.
I saw a lot of proud family members recording with their cell phones. This video will be on our YouTube page tomorrow, so you can also get it there. But can those family members in our audience stand up to be recognized? Thank you all. This project would not be possible without our Harlingen City Council PTA, and on behalf of the organization, I'd like to welcome the Council Scholarship Chair, Ms. Cindy Hardwich, to join Dr. Muniz and Dr. Noyola for photos with our Students of the Month. Students, as I call your names, please come forward to the front for a photo. From Harlingen High School, we have Nathan Resendez. Also from Harlingen High School, Davina Gutierrez. From Harlingen High School South, we have Thalia Newman. Also from Harlingen High School South, we have Ethan Navarrete. From Harlingen Collegiate High School, we have Nathan Martinez. From Harlingen Collegiate High School, Joselito Hernandez. From Harlingen School of Health Professions, Tabitha Torres.
Mom, you want to get closer?
And from Harlingen School of Health Professions, Edith De La Garza. I'd like to invite our board up forward for a group photo. Everyone look here first. One more. Okay, now other phone. Thank you.
Hey, for this, do we have to go one by one here? It's just, yes.
So before everyone leaves, I just want to say congratulations again to all of the students. You know, probably all of you as parents and audience saw the fact that these students aren't just academically excellent. They are leaders in clubs, they're in dance, music, athletics, and academicians. Have incredible futures planned out for themselves with high goals, high expectations. So we just want to say congratulations. Like, you set the standard so that all of our students strive to reach these goals. Really proud of you. Congratulations. We're so honored that we get to recognize you at these kinds of meetings. So congratulations.
I don't don't think they didn't trust me either. I'm not on, right? I don't think so. Right? I don't have it on. I'm on.
Please turn on the microphone.
Hello? Now I'm on? I'm on?
Yeah, you're on.
I just wanted to say one last thing to the group that's walking out. I appreciate you all thanking your parents. I think every single one of you in this group thanked your parents, and I think that's awesome. So I think that says a lot about you, and I think that says a lot about your family. So congratulations to you, and congratulations to your parents.
Yeah. That's right.
All right, we're moving to item number 3, approval of minutes for the November 8th, 2022 regular board meeting.
I move that we approve the minutes as submitted.
I have a motion by Greg Powers, second by Eladio Jaimes. Do I have any discussion? Okay, no further discussion. Let's proceed to vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposition? Motion carries. Thank you very much. Now to item 4, principal's report. Mr. Juan Garcia, Bella Middle School.
All right, Bella Middle
I was trying to get on the,
School. Rally.
well, yeah.
Thought they were going to have flags and everything.
Good evening, Board President.
You want us to do that over? The man, the myth, the legend.
Well, I do have a shirtlet like that, but I didn't think it was appropriate to bring it tonight. So, good evening, Board President, Board of Trustees, Dr. Noyola, and Superintendent staff, and audience. Yay! It is, and I'd like to thank my mom before I get started. She cut my yard today, so I appreciate that. We'll get into that later. This evening, I have the great distinct pleasure to represent great educators at Bella Middle School. And before I begin, I'd like to recognize my team, because I don't do this by myself. I have a great team behind me. And I'd like to recognize, first of all, my teachers, who I stand shoulder to shoulder with them in what we do every single day. I'd like to introduce Ms. Ruby Cavazos, Ms. Patricia McDaniel, Ms. Celinda Foster, Mrs. Creeders, our instructional coach, Mrs. Cooley and Livy, and of course, Mrs. Acosta, who is the foundation of Bella Middle School. And I would be remiss not to introduce Mr. Stevens from Teach for America, who made the commitment to be here tonight. So, Mr. Stevens. Tonight, I will be presenting on a partnership that we have created with Teach for America called Ignite. College students tutoring Bella Middle School students to foster belonging, accelerate learning through customized small group virtual learning experience, led by our teachers, of course. The program aims and outcomes are threefold. We advance our school's vision for students' impact by aligning high-impact tutoring strategically to our goals. Second, we offer students personalized experience that focus on connections, belongings, and academics. Thirdly, we give teachers a lift to support students' diverse needs. Our structure is very simple. It's convenient, doesn't interrupt our instructional day. In fact, it's embedded into our school hours, Monday through Friday. The great thing is that fellows, college students, work with our students on a 1-to-1 or 1-to-3 ratio for an average of 10 to 12 weeks. The accessibility fellows working with students that meet virtually through Zoom. It is a consistent program that is done through the fall and spring semesters. And we hone in on two areas, reading and math. 95% of the students reported that their fellows taught them in the way they learn best. Of students, 89% of students said that they enjoy Ignite sessions. 84% of students felt that they mattered in the Ignite sessions. One Ignite fellow is quoted by saying, "As future teachers, this program enabled me to develop teaching skills, understand the education landscape, and get excited about being in the classroom." I'd like to continue with a video that was prepared by an ex-Vela student who works for our district. Please enjoy.
The thing that I enjoy most about working here at Vela is working with the people who are here. We are very much a family. Even when I started in the middle of the year, there's always so much support that's offered. And I just love the people that I work with. So the Ignite program is an opportunity for students here at Vela to work with college students from across the nation, and they really are able to provide more small group instructions and facilitate skills and things that the students are learning in the classroom. And it just provides that opportunity for them that as teachers we don't always necessarily get whenever we're providing instruction for a larger class.
It's actually been really nice to work with the fellows, even if it's over Zoom, getting to know them, and they're from all over the country, getting to know them as individuals, and then having them come into the classroom and listening to those conversations that students are having with their fellows, and hearing some of the students who are quiet in the classroom when it's a bigger class environment really come out and blossom when they're in these one-on-one and small group environments with their fellows.
What I like about working with those fellows, my fellow, she's really nice, she's kind, she's funny, and she actually gets me to like the Ignite program. Every Monday, Wednesday, and Thursday, I can't wait for ninth period to do it.
The thing I like about the Ignite program is that I can learn more and more so that I can get good at math.
What I like about my fellow is that she's super nice, she's super kind, and whenever we get something wrong, she'll go back, make sure we understand the question, and just help us quite a bit.
The Ignite program is not just about teaching, it's not just about tutoring. A lot of times they're supposed to come in and they're supposed to talk to the kids and help me know what's your day like, tell me, they're getting to know each other.
There's one particular student who at the beginning of the year was really reluctant to participate. Being a reading teacher, being a middle school reading teacher, a lot of students kind of shy away from reading aloud. This particular student, who was paired with another student, has really taken the reins and been a leader in starting the conversations or wanting to volunteer to read something off of the screen. So we do see those moments.
I love the environment and working with the kids, and I think it's just, I found my purpose as an educator, and so it's my reason for getting up every morning and coming to work and just supporting and mentoring and guiding students and now fellows and working with my team. So I love the environment. I love working here at Vela.
At this time, would the board have any questions or comments?
Dr. Pettis?
Yeah, but Gina, do you have a question? You look like you, okay. Is your mic on? Okay. Actually, yes, and thank you for bringing your Teach for America colleagues here and all your wonderful leaders at Vela, and thanks for this presentation. I do have a question. First of all, how long have you been participating in Project Ignite with Teach for America? Do you have any idea? And then if you have any knowledge, or maybe, Dr. Noyola, how many other campuses are participating in this project? Do you have any knowledge of that?
Sure. And we got a phone call from Dr. Curtan, giving us an opportunity to participate. with Teach for America and Ignite. And before I even asked what's it about, I said yes, being that human capital is an area where I think is a need anywhere. And given the opportunity to mentor future teachers, I think it's a great opportunity, especially with the staff that Bella has. And you're looking at 3 wonderful teachers who day in and day out are in the trenches and can mentor future teachers. And so that I know of, we're the only campus in this district. We were a pilot, and we launched this program back in October, I believe. Of course, I think launch has some challenges, and our staff went above and beyond because they wanted to make sure that it was successful. And now we have several fellows who have signed up for the spring semester who want to return and learn from our educators here in Harlingen CISD, especially at Bella Middle School.
Well, congrats on this and for taking this leap and to do this. Obviously, the benefit is 2 ways. I mean, you're benefiting greatly these young future teachers and you're inspiring them in the process. But obviously, most important to us here at HCSD is obviously the impact it has on our students and our kids, right? So, but obviously, there's a 2-way street there. That's an awesome experience. I guess my question is, if you feel that it's been this impactful, right, at Vela, I mean, obviously it's something we should try to scale up across the district. I know that these fellows are paid. I would assume they're paid, so it's not free, and so there's funding involved, and of course Teach for America, they have a national presence, but so to whatever extent we can do that, I mean, obviously, the superintendent and Ms. Cortan, as you mentioned, obviously they'll have other schools in mind that can participate, but I would like to ask, maybe you think of something, maybe to extrapolate this in a different area, because obviously we have future teachers and we have really amazing college students here in the Valley, right? And so, although this experience is virtual and very impactful and very meaningful, I would wonder, and my wonderment is, how can we extrapolate this and create our own program whereby we get kids in the College of Education, UTRGV, to say, hey, come, can you come do something similar, but can you come in person? This is, I mean, really powerful because, I mean, these students that you have there, Vela, 5th, 6th, and 7th graders, all the way through 8th, right? I mean, so you have these amazing students, actually 6, 7, 8, right, that look up to these students. Obviously, virtually is awesome, but when they see them in person and they realize they're already on a trajectory of academic and career success, it's very inspiring for these kids to see, like, oh gosh, this young man looks like he could be my brother or my older sister, and then they really, it flips a switch in them, and they believe they can do amazing things like that as well. So I just food for thought, wondering how we can not only scale up this, not only at your school, but other schools in district, given the obviously limitations of funding and capacity that TFA must have. But how do we extrapolate that and create our own program with UTRGV as UTRGV grows on it? I mean, there are 32,000 students, right? We just added another 500 over the next few years with spirit programs and football, but that's neither here nor there. But seriously, the university is growing so fast, and it's growing all around us. We even have a campus here, in our school district for UTRGV. So how do we scale that, but with real, I mean, not the virtual way, but real in-person type of experience? Just a question.
So funny that you should ask, Doc. So one, I want to commend Juan Manuel for his initiative and his decision to say, I'm an early adopter, I want to be in. Because of the success that his campus has experienced, we're actually bringing Memorial Middle School on board in January. So they too will be participating in the Ignite program. But beyond that, when you find these successful programs, how do you scale them? Because everybody across this district, every student would benefit. And so we continue to work the partnership with Ignite, but also how do we take this concept and really make it our own across this district? Part of that is exactly what you mentioned, is how do we find those additional partnerships with university students, but also even within our own school district. We have a number of high school students in our education programs as well. And so how do we also connect them? Because these are the kids that our kids are looking up to. And so we can take it to scale to where it's impacting more and more students through the process as we look at who are all those kids that we can bring into the fold and give them these types of experiences, because we're seeing a great degree of interest now, especially with our students at our high schools wanting to go into the education profession. I want to thank Jonathan. Thank you so very much for reaching out. I give you a huge round of applause. You continue to be a champion for kids and a champion for the profession of teaching. And so thank you so very much for all of your partnership with our school district.
Mr. President. Thank you, Mr. Garcia, for that presentation. Thank you all for everything that you do at Vela. I agree with what they're saying, but also you mentioned that these fellows are from across the country. So is there an opportunity, along with what Dr. Perez and Dr. Noyola said, the diversity still of the exposures that they're getting to people across the country from universities that they probably never heard of. Is there an opportunity during these sessions for the fellow to maybe talk about where they're from, or is it just strictly tutoring? Because I think that exposure to some of these, colleges, where they're from might also be something that's helpful to the student.
Ms. McDaniel, along with the other teachers, spoke about the social-emotional component as to where the students get to know the fellows and share their experiences in the college ranks or what they're going through every day. And so that diversity was really there, and we were able to see that connection. And as the kids said in the video, they look forward to that opportunity to get that experience through their fellows, through those sessions. And that was impactful. And in Ms. Ruby Cavazos' classroom, I believe 17% of the students in Ignite outperform her regular advances classes to show that one-to-one interventions works, and the fact that through their mentorship program, guiding the instruction for each child really helped each individual child. So it was a win-win on all aspects, where being diversity or performance.
Okay.
Just one other comment. Thank you. Thank you to the team. It's hard to be first to adopt things and put it into place and figure out all of the kind of the small tweaks that you have to do and to have the success that you have had. And it's only December, so that's very, very impressive. And it just, what I like about the way you're thinking about it and the questions that are being asked too is just kind of the adaptability of it. I mean, it can be used for those students that really need the extra. It can be used at a broader level. There's different ways. It sounds like it's being used for reading and math. Maybe there were other topics too, but those are obviously key to what we do. So I just want to commend you for the leadership, all of you, and what it's doing for kids. Like, that's what it's about. So this is exciting. I'm really thrilled to learn about this program. Thank you.
And then lastly, just one last question, maybe for Jonathan. How many other districts in the Valley are participating? Do you have any knowledge of that? And sorry, you can come up if you like. I'm sorry. He's super tall, even without his hair.
Thank you, members of the board, Dr. Noyola. Real briefly, you all are first. So
Awesome.
part of the rationale when I talked to Dr. Cortan last spring was this program is about how educators are leaders at all level, from students on up to you all on the dais. And so the philosophy behind this program is that we can foster connections with students that drive learning and are mutually reinforcing. And so the real champions are sitting in this row here because as pioneers, they've had some challenges. In fact, they were the first middle school program to do reading in the country. But they've overcome those challenges, so we have reading and math we're expanding. But the reason why we came to Harlingen CISD is because you've clearly articulated how you develop leaders in your systems. And we needed teachers who could coach and support those fellows. They're more than just tutors. They are giving feedback back to those teachers, and the teachers are giving feedback back to them. And so it's a learning cycle. And so we started here. We're going to 2 campuses, and we know that often what starts in Harlingen CISD spreads in the Valley. And so regardless of whether it's this program or other models, we want to drive programs like this throughout the Valley. And so we're excited for what the future holds. And if people want to talk to me afterwards, I'm happy to chat more. I know Mr. Garcia's got a lot of questions here, and he is such a great leader at his campus. And some of these might be more specific technical questions. And so I'm also happy to meet with others and share more about it, especially if you're thinking about the models for your own district that might pull some of the similarities from this, because I think that there's room for all these different types of programs.
Well, thank you for, choosing HCISD. And again, Vela, you couldn't have picked a better school to choose and a better leader there. And obviously a bunch of leaders behind him that really are going to make this successful. But we can't wait to see where this goes, in this district, obviously as we scale it up, perfect the practice and make it more meaningful, impactful, and go from there. And we're proud that things start here, but really proud to also be associated with Teach for America. Thank you for choosing us, and means a lot. And thank you, Mr. Garcia, again, and to your team. Awesome.
Thank you.
And don't leave yet, Mr. Jonathan. Don't leave yet, Jonathan. Don't leave yet. I want to say some comments real quick as well. A great presentation, fantastic job. Loved so much of it. The fact that you're bringing it all together with the vision, the personalization, the support for our teachers. That's what we need, right? This whole concept is amazing and powerful. And I love the video because you can see some language in there that you have an amazing culture at your campus, right? I saw the word love repeated over and over. We don't normally see those in our videos, I saw family, support, love the people. I mean, that's what we're watching from a bigger point of view. We need to congratulate you because it starts with the leadership that you provide to our campus. And clearly, based on that video, it's happening. So thank you.
I can't take all the credit.
We get that.
The seed has been planted since the inception of Vela. And we all know who that leader was, and I don't like to mention that leader's name too often because I'm constantly competing with that shadow. But I can share with you this, that I have been embraced during a time that was very challenging for me to go into a campus and support students and teachers. And I am blessed to be working with a phenomenal team. And they make my job easy every single day, and I truly love them.
Awesome. Yeah. And then going to you, Jonathan, this is not your first visit here. I just want to make sure that we're clear with you, sir. I love your energy. I love your enthusiasm. I can clearly see that you're an honest person that really wants to help our kids. You're welcome here anytime. So thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. It's always great to be here.
Yes.
Awesome.
Great. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, moving to item number 5, approval of the consent calendar. Do we have a motion?
President, move approval of the consent calendar as presented.
Second.
All right, I have a motion by Dr. Bettis, a second by Dr. Reiniger. Any conversation regarding that?
Just want to note our exciting out-of-state student travel to Chicago, Illinois for the HCIC chess program and the Harlingen High School South Air Force JROTC. So that's kind of cool stuff. So
It's exciting. No conversation, let's proceed to vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposition? All right, motion carries. Thank you very much. Now going on to public comments for agenda topics. We do have a couple of individuals. Ms. Lorraine Galarza. Ms. Lorraine, can you please come up? I'm going to read this here. The next item on the agenda is the public comments for agenda topics to address the Board of Trustees. Before we begin, I will remind our audience members of the board's procedures for handling public comments regarding agenda topics. Anyone who wants to speak during public comments regarding agenda topics must sign up prior to the start of the meeting and list the agenda items that they want to discuss. All speakers will be allowed a maximum of 3 minutes to address the board. Any public testimony speaker who is speaking through a translator will receive up to 6 minutes to address the board. If more than 10 speakers are signed up to speak on the same agenda item, then all additional speakers on that item will be limited to 2 minutes. Speakers are limited to the items listed on the sign-up sheet. Complaints and concerns for which other resolution channels are provided shall be referred to. Use those channels. These complaints include employee and officer complaints, termination of employment, student complaints, comments about students that are not the child of the speaker, removal to alternative education program, and expulsion. Please keep your comments or criticisms civil and courteous. Please also avoid using profanity and refrain from making personal attacks on others during your opportunity to speak. We ask that you do not discuss students who are not your own child. Yelling, inappropriate, uncivil, or discriminatory comments will not be permitted. In the event your comment in the judgment of the presiding officer constitutes a complaint or charge against an employee or officer, it may be necessary for me to interrupt and ask you to stop and direct you to proceed with the school's district formal grievance procedures or to have the item heard in executive session, depending on the nature of the complaint. If a speaker is seeking board resolution of a specific complaint, that concern should be addressed through the district's grievance process, which can be found online and include policies DGBA, FNG, and GF. Grievances forms can be obtained at any campus administration office or in the central administration offices. Thank you. And our first speaker is Ms. Lorraine Galarza. Ms. Lorraine, you have 3 minutes. We do have a timer.
Before we do, are we doing non-agenda or agenda, so I can organize?
This is the agenda.
The agenda. And Ms. Leffner had asked me, I have some information I wanted to submit to you all. Would be okay? Do I have permission before I start to speak so that you know what I am speaking about?
So what, if you can, give that to Ms. Leffner.
Okay.
And then we'll start. You have a timer? Okay, and we'll give you 3 minutes. Do you want a 30-second countdown at that 30-second mark when you have 30 seconds left?
Yes, I will.
Okay. All right, Ms. Galarza, go ahead and proceed.
Okay. Board members, thank you. Good evening. My name is Lorraine Galarza, and I reside in District 1. This is not the first time I have been to this meeting before you all board members, so thank you. But I wanted to go over, I handed a packet to Ms. Leffner, which you all will receive, and I wanted to talk about item 11A, and it refers back to school security. I'm still back to talk about that. Mm-hmm. And the reason that I'm going to talk about that is because I still have concerns. You all have in your packet a picture that I've submitted because I went to the school just this past week. It's dated and it's timed. I'm a grandparent there, so I happened to be there, and it was during a picnic at the Vernon. It's called Vernon Picnic Day, and this happened around 11:30 in the morning. I noticed that the school district has posted signs in all the schools in the school district indicating that there are police or armed officers on duty. And I was really excited when I first saw that because I thought, oh, we're moving forward. We're doing something different than the memorandum of understanding that we have with the constables. So I happened to be at the school, and I approached a security gentleman that had the jacket, and I asked him, you know, that the sign there was indicating that there was an armed officer, and if he would appoint me to him. And he said, well, they're at the police department. And I said, I understand there are armed officers at the police department. I want to know the ones that you have here at the school, because that's what you're telling the public. And he says, we don't have any here. There are not any here. So he got the radio, and I took a picture because not only did I find that there are no secured officers on duty, but they don't even have the set skills to handle just a regular parent who approaches them and asks them a simple question. I asked him for his name. There was no identification. He refused to give me his name. I don't look violent. I didn't even have my purse. I just happened to have my phone. And so I did indicate to him that one way or another I was going to find his name. That's why I'm submitting you a picture of him. So you will catch him on the radio.
You have 30 seconds.
Calling in to whoever he was calling, letting him know that I was there, asking questions, and took a picture. And I did tell him that it's Lorraine Galarza. I waited. Nobody ever showed up to speak to me. I did notify some of the parents that I knew there that there were no armed security. I mean, what are we? I just am very disappointed that the public is being told that this is what's going on, and that's not the case.
Thank you, Ms. Galarza. Your time is up. Ms. Linda Ramos, if you can come forward. You also have 3 minutes. Ms. Ramos, would you like a 30-second countdown before? Okay. Good evening, Ms. Ramos.
All board members, how's everyone doing? It's good to see you guys again, and one of the reasons I wanted to speak tonight is also reference to that, but I want to applaud you guys, and I live in front of Zavala Elementary, and since my last meeting that I came was my first meeting actually as a taxpayer, and actually you guys have been doing a wonderful job on keeping Zavala safe. There's been a constable constantly, which is astonishing, and I'm very proud of that, because that I know, and because of the holidays coming up, most of you that do know where I live at, in front of Zavala Elementary, is on B Street by the Big M. It's a high crime area, which we try to fight with, belong with District 1, or District 2 Neighborhood Watch. So one of my things is to keep it up. And also to what she's indicating, if there's not armed officers on all the schools in Harlingen, that is a concern to me, because my son goes to Memorial Middle School. So I work from home, and I'm in front of Zavala, but is my son being taken care of over there by Old Hunter Road? When she informed me of the situation, I said, well, you know what, I'm just very proud of them that it's been a consistency, and I love to see the constable there, and they're, securing it, which is wonderful. The holidays are approaching, and there's been extreme high crime violence. So I urge you guys to make sure that every school is being secured, because those are our jewels again. And, let's just keep the good work going, and just keep all the children safe as possible, because, we can't just turn an eye and then something occurs. We want to be the ones that, Harlingen protects their kids. And so I just wanted to inform you guys of that. And I also want to make sure that my son that's in middle school, that's right there, is safe, and I know that our principals are wonderful and our security guards, at Memorial, but let's just make sure that the armed officers, like she went to go see her grandson, and I said, well, there has to be a constable there, and she says, no, there wasn't. So that's my concern, guys, and, we can do the way we do with Zavala. If the money's the issue, I've gone through the public records, there is enough funding for the taxpayers, which I am a taxpayer, and so is she and everybody else. Let's get moving, and let's put some, especially now, because we just had another incident happen in my neighborhood at night, but we got to keep these kids secure. And I want to thank you guys for your time, and excuse my attire, I was working out, so you guys have a wonderful evening, and let's just get these schools secured. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ms. Ramos.
Thank you.
All right, moving on to where are we at? Let's see. That was item number 7. So, yeah, we're on item number 7, public audience for non-agenda topics. I have to read the same thing for non-agenda items. The next item on agenda is a public audience for non-agenda topics, which is the time for members of the audience to address the Board of Trustees. Before we begin, I will remind our audience members of the board's procedures for handling public audience for non-agenda topics. Anyone who wants to speak during public audience for non-agenda topics must sign up prior to the start of the meeting and list the non-agenda subject they wish to discuss. All speakers will be allowed a maximum of 3 minutes to address the board. Any public testimonies speaker who is speaking through a translator will receive up to 6 minutes to address the board. If a group of people want to be heard on the same topic, the board asks that they designate a spokesperson to avoid needless repetition. The board shall allot no more than 30 minutes for speakers on items not on tonight's agenda. Please keep your comments or criticism civil and courteous. Please also avoid using profanity and refrain from making personal attacks on others during your opportunity to speak. We ask that you not discuss students who are not your own child. Yelling, inappropriate, uncivil, or discriminatory comments will not be permitted. In the event your comment, in the judgment of the presiding officer, constitutes a complaint or charge against an employee or officer, it may be necessary for me to interrupt and ask you to stop and direct you to proceed with the school district's formal grievance procedures, or to have the item heard in executive session, depending on the nature of the complaint. If a speaker is seeking board resolution of a specific complaint, that concern should be addressed through the district's grievance process, which can be found online and include policies DGBA, FNG, GF. Grievances forms can be obtained at any campus administration office or in the central administration offices. Thank you. And our first speaker is Ms. Lorraine Galarza.
Once again, thank you. Do you want to tell me when you start the clock?
Yes, you may begin.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so my first item, I'm going to go through them very quickly because we've got the 3 minutes. So the first one is media. If you notice, I am being taped, yes, with my phone, because one of the concerns that I have a question, is all the board meetings that we've had since August haven't been posted online. And so that's a concern to me because, you know, we want to be able to go there and look at our public comment, number one. And so we are going to be recording ourselves now on the phone, and we'll be posting that ourselves. Number two, you will see in the packet that I provided earlier to Mrs. Lefner to provide to you all, there is a picture of the, I think it was Dr. Nayola that's on that picture with the children when you all went shopping, or there was an event where you all went to Target. I think that's a wonderful gesture. However, maybe we need to think about the processes. And that was one of the other reasons why I came tonight, because I was very concerned that a student approached me and the family's having a hardship at this time, and made a comment to me. He said, how is it that the other students got something and I didn't get anything? Well, when you have people taking photos and love the recognition, that's great and dandy. But maybe we need to think about how it affects others. And I'm sure maybe it's not done intentionally, but the damage was done. So I ask you all board members to please consider that. And it is posted all over Facebook. So that was discussed among several parents. I mean, how do you all determine what child needs and what child does not? So I ask you again to please consider that and consider the other children's feelings. The third item and on the agenda that I wanted to talk about, well, that I prepared, was no follow-up. I still haven't received a phone call from Dr. Noyola to schedule an appointment with me. I've talked about that to each and every one of you on my last meetings. I think that is very unprofessional. I am a taxpayer. I don't want to bash. I'm just asking for a follow-up appointment. I don't understand how you board members haven't
Excuse me, you have 30
asked
seconds.
her why she hasn't returned a call. It's just plain professionalism. And most of all, I still haven't received a return call from the attorneys, which I believe Dr. Muniz, your brother, represents. I don't know that conflict of interest. I still haven't received my school needs assessments. They haven't returned my call. So that's very concerning to me.
All right, ma'am, your time is up.
Okay?
Next speaker is Ms. Linda Ramos.
And happy holidays,
Thank you.
everybody. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, Ms. Ramos. I'm glad you worked out before. You're like super happy.
Well, I was already gonna start because I had to go for work, and she's like, "Are you gonna come?" And it's like, I guess put me on there. But that was another concern, is that of the children that are, and it's a wonderful thing. I know the police department does it as well, and we're also doing an event that one of the students, Victoria, that she passed away last year. She had just graduated, so she's part of my family, and we do a toy drive for 10 years in our neighborhood. And sometimes within the community, or even the people that go speak, like myself or other community liaisons, are struggling, and their kids or whatnot. And I've heard it where, how come I wasn't chosen, or how does that work with the counseling? Is it being with the counselors? I mean, how do you guys know what families are struggling with financial situations? And the ones that are not saying it, but the kids normally say stuff. I mean, kids say a lot of stuff when they don't tell the parent, they tell somebody else. And that was a big concerning. We want to keep all that up. I know the Rotary, I was going to say rotisserie, I guess I'm hungry. Rotary Club does it, I'm sorry, and the Harlingen Police Department. And I know a lot of our people and our citizens, they do community events, and they do the toy drives, and it's awesome. But for the school district, how is it that everybody's going about it and picking these children? Because we don't want to leave any child out, especially during this season. Even if you think they're financially well off, a lot of these parents are struggling, loss of jobs, and people put a front. What you can't see inside, you don't know if someone has a broken heart because they hide it very well. But again, we don't want to cause any child to be left out. So how do we fix that? I know that a lot of different clubs have been doing this in the schools. The Harlingen Police Department, I think, only does it to 5th grade. Then other clubs do it. But how are these children chosen? Is it through the counseling? I don't know if y'all can answer me, or it has to be done a different way, but however, that's a big concern of mine. And it's about Jesus. Of course, I try to implement that to all the kids. It's about giving to others. But then again, they are children. And you know how we were with children. As children, we want candy, and we want, some type of toy or jumping jacks or whatever it is that we used to play with. So, I just urge you guys to just take a look at your teachers and your principals and say, did we miss somebody? Let's not miss someone this year. Let's be the school district that, hey, every child left home with a gift. Even candies, they'll be happy with a candy bar. I've seen kids with an apple that they get so happy, especially where I live. I mean, you would be surprised, but let's just go back and retake, because these kids do have social media. They do have everything on school. So they see it, and they say
Thank you,
to
Ms.
other
Ramos.
people. So
Thank you very much.
Thank you guys for listening. God bless y'all.
Thank
God
you.
bless you. Have a good evening. All right, moving on to item number 8, matters relating to transformation and school support.
Thank you, Mr.
Dr. Alicia Noyola.
Thank you, Mr. President. On Tuesday, December 6th, we held our Transforming Teaching and Learning Committee meeting. At that meeting, we had 2 topics that we brought forward, all dealing with how do we strategically plan in our school district. And so at that meeting, Dr. Corton presented an update on day 3 of strategic planning. As you all know, it is not a quick process, and it's not designed to be. It's really designed to get us to that planning phase and what will we be doing over the next 5 to 7 years. And so the committee has been hard at work. And so we had day 3, and we came back and shared with the board where we are with the goals. We had previously discussed and taken some feedback, and so that came back on day 3. And so I'm super excited at where these goals are now, but it is a process. And so we still have a few more days of work. We have day 4 that's scheduled for January 26th. Then we'll have a Team of 8 workshop on February 7th, just to kind of wrap up all the feedback, with the goal that on February 14th, we will bring the final strategic plan to the board for adoption. And so we'll continue to work on some of that feedback, bring in the committee. One of the things that we want to make sure is that the goals and work that we do is broad enough so that it can really stand the test of time. so that we can really utilize those goals to drive our work during the next few years. And then along those lines, as we talk about strategic planning, we also have to talk about financial planning and what does that look like. And so we were fortunate enough to have a topic titled Financial Strategic Planning. We had our financial advisors, Miguel de los Santos and Bobby Villarreal from Estrada Hinojosa. They came forward and shared some information, talked a little bit about where we are with our debt, talked a little bit about some of the options that we have should we need to look at some added funds. Fortunately, because of our TRE and other strategic moves that have been made, we're not at a point where we need to be looking at a bond, but certainly knowing what are all of our options as we move forward. I want to thank Julio Cavazos and the financial advisors for that presentation, two really great topics. Dr. Belinda Reiniger chaired that particular meeting, and so I'll turn it over to her for any additional comments she may have.
Thank you, Dr. Noyola. Just a few comments for the board to hear that the strategic planning process continues to have tremendous community input and enthusiasm from all the participants, from community members who are part of it, from staff and leaders within the district as well. It's really clear how much community support there is for the district and for, kind of the next steps, the hopes and dreams of the community for our kids and for the district. So I think that just is tremendous. I do think that the goals that have been aligned and then the specific actions that we need to see, I think that's the right word. Now I can't even say specific results. Outlining that, I think you're going to be really impressed. I know that we've all been given the opportunity to look at that and give additional feedback. So anyway, the process is really working and very community-minded. The numbers are well over 6,000 people have been involved in giving input. The financial planning piece of the meeting, as you might imagine, we are in just tremendous shape. Mr. Cavazos's leadership and the whole team has, led us through this work, and then it was confirmed by these outside advisors. And so, we see that our debt is decreasing, that we have, a very nice base that, more than what we, even have to have, so that puts us in an excellent position. And so then it gives us, ultimately what I took away from it is it gives us the opportunity with seeing our debt decreasing, the strength, the wisdom of putting in a TRE, we have options. Like as we're going forward, we're not in a place of crisis or rush. We're in a place where we're going to have strategic planning giving us opportunities, and we have the financial resources to make wise decisions. So we're in a great place. That's my takeaway.
Mr. President, can
Yes,
I just,
absolutely.
first of all, Dr. Reiniger, excellent summary. Just a couple of questions that I have, and actually that came up during the meeting that I just want to make sure that the board I know wants follow-up on. The first part was, as you alluded, excellent, the way the strategic planning is going. It's amazing. I think there was an opportunity with our recent graduates, and I'll let you all define recent graduates however you want. It could be 5 years or 7 years, or you could ask Bobby Muniz if you like. No, I'm just kidding. But I do feel that there's an opportunity and there's time to give them a look at the goals and specific results and say, what do you think? Are we missing something? Do you have any ideas? I do feel that we get some added value there, whatever, or validation and assurance. That's fine too. I mean, but I think if I remember, there was only, maybe less than 10 students, recent graduates that they were able to get a hold of, and I think we can do better than that. So that's number one. I think that would be pretty impactful. Secondly, on the other presentation, there was a follow-up. At least I had one question, and I don't know if it came through or not, but I'll ask it again. I would love, because that was first of all, thank you, Julio, thank you for doing that. That was awesome, and I think we should probably do that. I mean, I would almost say yearly, to be honest with you. I mean, it's that important. But I would ask, because it wasn't clear in the presentation, and maybe I just missed it, you know, our debt as compared to our budget and as compared to the value of all of our assets in the district, I would love to know that ratio, sort of as a debt as a function of budget and debt as a function of assets. And then how do we compare to similar sized districts around the state and country? I would love to see that. So thank you for bringing them forward.
So we're working on some type of analysis, Dr. Perez, and we'll try to get you something hopefully soon.
Thank you.
All right. Any other comments? On to item number 9, matters related to business services. A, consideration and award of architectural services, RFQ number ARC S0922, Julio Cavazos.
Yeah. Thank you, Dr. Moniz, Dr. Neola, board members. Agenda item 9A is consideration and award of architect services. We solicited a request for qualifications for architect services late September. We did receive 9 proposals. Our ranking committee met several times and reviewed the proposals. We are recommending the top 5 rank architects to work with as projects arise. Mr. Tapia will assign the projects to one of these firms. We had not solicited proposals since 2015, and we wanted to bring these professional services into our 5-year RFQ cycle for professional services. We did discuss this at the facility committee meeting last week. So the top 5 architect firms are Megamorphosis, they are in Harlingen, Wright Ogden Figueroa, they have an office in Harlingen, Janak and Architects, they also have an office in Harlingen, McAllen, and Corpus. Milnet Architectural, they're from McAllen, and the Warren Group, they're from McAllen as well. So we wanted to have a selection of 5 firms that Mr. Tapia can work with and choose one of these firms as we go into any projects that we come up here in the next 5 years. And we don't have any significant projects, so we're comfortable with these firms.
All right, do I have a motion?
Move approval as presented.
Second.
All right, I have a motion by Dr. Pettis, second by Dr. Reiniger. Any discussion? There's no discussion, let's continue to vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any nays? All right, motion carries. Item 9B, consideration for approval for U.S. Bank global organizations to utilize their credit card payment options to earn rebates to the 8 CIC district. Julio Cavazos.
Yeah. So thank you, Dr. Muniz, Dr. Neola, board members. So agenda item 9B is consideration and approval utilizing U.S. Bank credit card payment options in order to earn cash rebates for the district. So we're always trying to see how we can generate some funds. And so we've been talking to U.S. Bank for a while. And one of the ways that we can do it is to try and make some payments, for our vendors through a credit card option through U.S. Bank. And there's a rebate that we can generate if we do that. So not all vendors participate, but U.S. Bank will help us set up the vendors that do participate. We would pay those vendors through a credit card and earn a 1.65% rebate for those payments. So we anticipate, just based on some analysis, that we can generate probably a little bit over $100,000, if not more, in rebates on an annual basis. We do have the internal controls in place in order to pay for these vendors by credit card, and we do recommend approval.
Do I have a motion?
I move that we approve U.S. Bank global organizations to utilize their credit card payment options to earn rebates to HCISD district.
I have a motion by Greg Powers, second by Eladio Jaimes. Any discussion?
Great idea.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposition? Motion carries. Thank you.
Just one quick question. The rebates will go to district, to fund balance? Or what is
Yeah, it's additional revenues that we can generate. We can appropriate those revenues. We can put them into our fund balance, but yeah,
Got
it
it.
would come back to us.
Got it. Thank you.
Item number 9C, consideration and approval to contract Linebarger, Goggin, Blair, and Sampson LLP to perform a property value study on our upcoming 2022 property values. Julio Cavazos.
Yeah, thank you, Dr. Moniz, Dr. Neola, board members. Agenda item 9C is consideration and approval to contract with Lineberger, Gogan, Blair, and Sampson as our delinquent tax attorneys to do a property value study. So our property values, play an important role in our state funding. The state uses these property values to determine how much money, how much funds, state funds are allocated to school districts. The higher your property values, the less state funding that we get. Lineberger will work with the appraisal district to review sales and appraisals of property, review controllers, statistical measures, and sampling procedures, review the tax rolls, among other things. Even though our past valuation results have been historically valid, we feel that a property value study will not hurt. There's no fee for these services. However, if there's some additional state funds generated because of this value study that they do, Lineberger gets 10% of those additional state funds. I've been working with John Guevara on this proposal, and we recommend approval. So it's an annual thing that they would do. There is an out clause, 30-day out clause if you ever need to, back out on those that proposal.
Do I hear a motion? Let's get to the motion and discussion, or you want discussion?
Well, that's fine. Make a motion. I do have some questions.
Okay.
I'll move approval to approve the contract with Linebarger, Goggin, Blair, and Sampson to perform a property value study on our upcoming 2022 property values.
Second? Anybody?
Second.
All right, so Dr. Reineger's first, Eladio Jaimes second. Any discussion?
I have a couple of questions. I'm not sure I understand, Julio. A property value, they're going to go out and assess to make sure that we're getting fair value on the value?
So what the way that it works is the appraisal districts, they submit the local values to the state for their review, and they use these local assigned values, to assign so much, state dollars based on those property values. So what they're going to do is they're going to review those records. They're not going to go out there and do the appraisals themselves. They're just going to review the records that the appraisal district does to submit those to the state.
But what are they looking for? Are they looking to see if some of these properties are undervalued or what?
If they're overvalued.
Overvalued,
Yeah, so if they're
okay.
overvalued means that our property values are less. And sometimes, some of these values are litigated, through the court system, and if the court approves those lower values, then we can come back and generate some additional state funds now because our property values are lower. So they look at all of that. It's really looking at the records from the appraisal district, to be able to review and basically say that, yeah, those values are properly assigned to us.
Okay. So one of the things that catches my mind right now is we had a real spike in 2021 in property values throughout the valley for about almost a year period. Those values sales are down. Right. And where people were selling things for above asking price, now they're back below asking price, or they're at asking price, if that's even moving. So that would be beneficial to us, I'm assuming,
If they're
in this
overvalued,
situation.
yes. Yeah,
Okay.
If they're overvalued and it's determined that they're overvalued, then our overall property values, taxable property values,
Right.
will decrease at the state level, meaning that we get some additional state funds.
Okay.
So the higher the property values, the less funds that we get. And so, we haven't done a study because our thresholds have looked, historically, they've been in line, but it doesn't hurt to go in there and do a review.
Okay, thank you.
Good questions.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Powers, for that question. It got me thinking of something else. Appreciate the excellent question. But I guess the question now is, do we have precedent here in terms of that typically this sort of function? Because I imagine this isn't a free exercise, right?
There's no fee unless if they do, show that we are going to get some additional funds, then they get 10% of that.
Okay, so it's on what do you call it?
Contingent.
Contingency. Okay, that's great. My question is, even though the contingency, do they have precedent that they, in fact, statewide or whatever, they typically can get those values reduced in a more accurate fashion to what the value really is? That'll then lead to more state funding. Is there
Sure.
precedent
Yeah,
there?
Yeah, there is. There's been some instances where, based through their audit and the study, they reduce the property value for those school districts, and thus the state, gives more additional funds to school districts. They have about 170 school districts that they work with that. So,
Thank you.
yeah.
Any further discussion?
Just one other question, and maybe it's a little off, but I was told the other day by somebody at the appraisal district that one of the senior appraisers, that they were out reviewing properties, and I made a snide comment, well, I hope you're low in values this year. And he said, actually, we're going up again. And saying that they're apparently there's new software that they were outdated that they're using right now that's going to change the form. I don't know if it's changing formulas or what, but have you heard anything about that?
I had not heard, that they were going to go up in value because of a change in software. I mean, they could go up in value, but I hadn't heard anything. But, that's one of the things that, doing this value study, at least they can go more in depth into how they assess those values. And if they're over assessing, then there could be a correction.
Okay. Thank you.
Any further discussion? Let's then go on to vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposition? Motion carries. Great discussion. On to item number 10, matters relating to human services. Consideration and approval of incentive agreement for voluntary early notification of resignation from employment. Debbie Scoggins?
Yes, good evening, Dr. Muñiz, Dr. Noyola, members of the board, senior team, and audience. The voluntary early notification of resignation from employment, referred to as the 543 model, is being proposed for your consideration. The proposed voluntary early notification of resignation would essentially offer campus-based professional employees a $500 incentive for those declaring retirement or resignation in January, a $400 incentive for those declaring in February, and $300 incentive for those declaring in March. The goal of the early notification of resignation program will be to afford the district the time needed to fill vacancies with educators that fit the needs of our district. Last year, 32 campus-based professional employees took advantage of this 543 model. Administration recommends approval of the early notification of resignation from employment for the 22-23 school year.
Do I have a motion?
I move for approval.
Do I have a second?
I second.
All right, motion by Greg Powers, second by Gina Monreal.
I guess I'll just.
Any discussion?
Yes, Mr. Question. So I guess just to probably ask this question every year, do we see, any, based on past history, any reason to tweak it in any way to further, obviously to increase the impact of the, it's obviously been a very successful program year after year. Do you see, obviously you go through this exercise every year, Debbie, do you see the need to tweak it in any way to improve the effectiveness?
No, I don't. I believe that it's been very, very successful. Our educators have become accustomed to this program, and they're, of course, very hopeful that we will, implement it on an annual basis. It allows the district to have that, plan ahead, right, and just have that information of forecasting vacancies for the summer months, and so that we can get ahead. We start our talent acquisition process early February. We start with our Super Saturday events and just hosting our, local job fairs and attending job fairs. So we're able to start to recruit talent, and so that they're able to start to fill those positions that we know will be vacancies. So again, I think that our campus-based professional staff have become accustomed to this program. I think that they appreciate the incentive. Individuals who have decided that they're going to retire in May, by now they've made that determination, and so then they're ready to give us notice in January. And so we've been very successful with it. That we will have a few resignations come through, later on in, late May and June, absolutely. But we get a really good number, that come through early on, so that we're able to start to fill those positions early on as we have applicants that are, seeking employment with us, and we're able to offer them a contract and lock them in, and so that we're, we have the upper hand. And so districts that are planning later on, we've already secured those employees. And so it's worked out very, very well, very successful.
Mr. Greg Powers?
In line with Dr. Pettis' tweaking, how many years have we been doing this program?
Oh,
Julio?
I believe it's like 8.
But
9, 8 or 9
years. And I think it's a terrific program. I think it helps you plan for the future. But I'm wondering if, in line with Dr. Pettis' tweaking, if we need to reevaluate the amounts that we put out there. Let's look at 8 years, $500 8 years ago versus today.
To incentivize, further incentivize, right?
I don't see Julio, he's kind of looking at me.
No, that's something,
But seriously,
certainly
I
an
think we need
option.
to revisit that, because the whole idea is an incentive to get somebody to step forward
And maybe $500 is not the right.
or 300.
Or 300,
Yeah, so we don't spend a lot of money. I think, probably less than $20,000, on an annual basis. And that's certainly an option if the board wants to do that. We can double it if we need
I
that.
mean, I just feel like, I mean, obviously we can't go from, you know, include voluntary and involuntary, you know, and say, here, you've been selected to, no, we can't do that, right? But you can have the same, you know, impact by just bumping up the dollars a little bit. And to Greg's point, and it's an excellent point, I mean, if you look at the COLA over those years, it cost of living, I mean, you know, 500 should probably be 750 or 800, I don't know. I mean, anyway, I don't know if we can approve this. How can we approve it, but give you all some latitude, or does that have to be brought back to the board, or?
So we still have time, Doc, because in February is when that comes into play. And so we can study it and kind of see what an appropriate number would be and still be able to bring it back in January if you would like.
Well, if whoever made the motion could modify it to sort of, you know, to sort of give y'all some latitude, and then just bring back the dollar amount at our next.
We don't want to table it, I guess, but I would.
I think we need to approve it.
I'd modify it to approve it, but subject to review by Julio and the superintendent and Deb Scoggins to see if they're, to increase the amount to appropriate economic levels today, so.
Perfect.
Gina, you second. Do you agree with that?
I agree.
All right. Any further comments? If not, then let's go ahead and vote. All those in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposition? Motion carries. On to item number 11, matters relating to district operations. Facilities and Safety Committee report, Oscar Tapia.
Thank you, President Bobby Muniz, members of the board, Dr. Noyola. We had a Facilities and Safety Committee meeting December 6th. First item was the school design team plan that was presented. And during this portion of the committee meeting, Danny Castillo presented on the recommendations from the Crisis Management Subcommittee, which is a part of the larger school safety design team. As part of the discussion on law enforcement, the committee's findings found 3 key research-based elements that can exist in school-based law enforcement models throughout the country. The first element involved the importance of collaborative multi-agency partnerships, with emphasis being placed on strong communication between various law enforcement agencies. The second element involved utilization of full-time law enforcement school resource officer individuals that have a consistent presence and are familiar with our schools. The third element involved utilization of experienced and well-trained law enforcement practitioners for campus-based assignments. Practitioners strike a balance between school-based law enforcement and police street patrol experience. But based on these research-based findings of the Crisis Management Subcommittee, the School Safety Design Committee made recommendations to explore the creation of an expanded school resource officer program. The second part of that safety presentation was the intruder detection audit process. And under this section, Danny Castillo also presented the intruder detection audit process that's conducted by the state, and it's also comprises of 3 sections. The first phase is the intruder detection audit, and the second phase is the exterior door audit, and this involves daily and weekly inspections of all building exterior doors. The third phase is the classroom door audit that involves checking and inspecting classroom doors to see if they're locked during instruction time, and to check for any operational deficiencies and report them. They also follow up to review proper and required documentation of the door sweeps and inspections. The Texas School Safety Center recently conducted an intruder detection audits at several of our schools, and we are working closely with our district school safety and security committee to ensure that we're training all our staff and securing all our doors for the protection of everyone at the campuses. The support from the state in conducting the intruder detection audits is just one of many actions we're taking to ensure our schools are safe. We acknowledge that parents and community members are very likely interested in the details of the audit results. However, as per guidance from the TEA and Texas School Safety Center, it is in the best interest of the students that we do not share this information to the broader public, as it could lead to compromising important campus security information. So specific details of the intruder detection audit will be discussed in executive session and has already been done so with the Safety and Security Committee. So then the committee went into an adjournment, closed session, and the intruder detection audit reported a findings. Dr. Noyola and Mr. Castillo presented this finding in executive session. On the facilities portion of the meeting, we discussed the proposed RFQs for the architectural services that were received on September 27th. The 9 architectural RFQs that were ranked and presented at tonight's meeting. Under the ESSER projects, we reported several air conditioning projects being done by engineering firms, DBR Engineering, Sigma Engineering, and Ethos Engineering. And these contractors have been awarded the contracts, notice proceeds have been issued, and pre-construction meetings have been held, so we're waiting for now on delivery dates for all the equipment that needs to be ordered for these different projects at various schools. The central plant upgrades under Ethos is being bid out, and bids will be received December 14th, ranked, and we'll bring it forth on January 17th for a potential award in the new school year. On the roofing projects, also under the ESSER funds, those 2 projects are being, the Megamorphosis project is being bid out. Bids will be in December 14th, and that's for Harlingen High School. And we'll make a recommendation on the January board meeting when we get back from the holidays. The project under Janak Architects will be bid out after the holidays, and we're targeting the February 14th meeting for that award as well. On the regular TRE projects, the Harlingen High School upgrades, that project's being advertised. Bids come in December 14th. We'll rank them, and hopefully in January meeting, we'll present that for award. The Zavala Elementary kitchen renovation was awarded to Garlock Builders. We had a pre-construction meeting, and they're starting construction tomorrow, actually. Gave an update on the Early Childhood Academy construction upgrades with the building additions and the phases that were in there. We're about 50% on the exterior and about 95% on the interior work. The first responders, overall, we're about 50%. A lot of demolition has taken place, electrical demolition, walls, ceilings, tiles, and all the works being put back in. We had to cut off the power temporarily to make some electrical improvements. Power's been put back on, so now they're going to start running cabling for a lot of projectors, TV, cameras, things like that. On the bogus track, I gave an update that we're resurfacing that track. It's going to be a 2-tone with the track being red, but the exchange zones being gray in color, and they're probably about 25-30% right now. Should be done in about 3 weeks. On the fire alarm upgrades, we completed the new fire alarm at the SAC campus, and they're starting over at the Austin Elementary campus. And intercom work at Milam is being upgraded. They're about 99% complete. We just need to test the final system and do a punch list. And Julio Cavazos gave a update on the construction financial report on the latest activities of TRE expenditures. And that meeting was adjourned. I'll turn it over to our facilities chair for any questions you may have. Dr. Reininger?
Thank you. As you can see by the report, it was a very full and interesting and productive agenda. I think that the piece I just want to highlight is the report out by the crisis management subcommittee as part of this larger school safety design team. So that committee is made up of professionals, safety professionals, community members, school district personnel, and they were working closely, obviously, with Mr. Castillo as they were going through the process. So as they were looking at ultimately making the recommendation for what is our school safety approach going to be, and in that, when Mr. Tapia was talking about these elements that are going to be in here, this is really 3 elements, all evidence-based, but coming together in an HCISD way. So it's not like, okay, we're just going to do what everybody else did. We're taking the best, these 3 different research-based approaches, and putting it together for HCISD students. And then what's really tremendous about that is not only is it evidence-based, but it's already rolling out, right? This collaborative multi-agency partnership, that's what you're seeing in our schools already. That's how we've expanded the coverage of armed officers in our schools, like right away. So we, not only is it evidence-based, but we're doing it, we know it works, it's more than doubled our coverage already. So that was really impressive. And it is enhancing the communication of these agencies already. Not only do they now know one another, do they train together, do they communicate about our kids, they know our schools intimately. They know our facilities. You know, obviously there's more under this plan to do, but it's not like, oh, you're just hearing the plan and now we got to wait till next year to do it. These things are already in place, and I think that, you know, Dr. Nayola, Mr. Castillo have just tremendous respect and tremendous effort to push this forward. So, and you know, as was really apparent in this discussion, well-trained law enforcement practitioners are rotating through our campuses. So they're field trained. I think that was the right word, Mr. Castillo. They are field trained. They are regularly rotating out to the field, and then they are also in our schools. So you're ready, right? You're ready when a situation happens. It's not stale. I haven't been in the field a while. No, they're regularly in the field, and then they are also in our schools. So it is I think, a unique and very thoughtful plan.
Thank you, Dr. Reiniger. And I just want to make a quick comment as well. Just Danny Castillo, you and your staff are doing an amazing job. Thank you for your leadership. You know, on a personal note, I see the officers out there armed, and I see them doing their job, and they're doing a tremendous job. So thank you very much. At this point in time, we're going to go into adjournment, into closed session for actions and matters discussed, and for the following reasons: discuss employment of teachers and other professional staff, and discuss employment of Director of Family and Community Engagement. At this point in time, we are now in closed session. We're now back in open session. The time is 10:21 PM. And at this point in time,
Mr.
we're
President,
going over 13A.
move approval of employment of teachers and other professional staff as recommended in executive session.
Second.
All right, I have a first by Dr. Perez. Javier, was that you?
Yes, sir.
I have a second by Mr. Javier De Leon. Any conversation regarding that? If not, all those in favor say aye.
Aye. Aye.
Any opposition? Motion carries. Item B.
Mr. President,
B, go ahead.
make a motion to approve the employment of Director of Family and Community Engagement as discussed in executive session.
All right, I have a motion
Second.
by Eladio Jaimes and a second by Dr. Reiniger. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposition? Motion carries. This meeting is now adjourned.
Thank you.